Hi everybody, John here with our Charmed Midlife, and I'm back for an Ozempic update, week number 2. See how I'm doing. Danny's here, she's back there behind the camera.
Hello.
And she's gonna pipe in with some questions or whatever. We're gonna try to keep this relatively short and just talk about how things are going after my second shot. So I started, again, reminder, I started on the 13th, took my first shot. I weighed 272.6 on that day. 1 week later, on the 20th, I was 264.4, and it's not quite a third week. It's not. We're recording this Sunday, May 25th. It is. I'm 263. So still heading the right direction. Things are going okay, and after the second shot, the first shot I had dizziness and a little bit of ick. Second shot, I was not affected at all. I was fine, which I was very pleasantly surprised with. Now again, I'm still on the lowest dosage, and I have another 2 shots on lowest dosage, so I don't anticipate any real trouble. I think going up to the next one, which is double what I'm taking now, is where potential for feeling stuff again probably is, but we'll see when I get there in 3 weeks. So, doing well. I didn't really touch on this. Well, I think I touched on it, but I didn't really spend a lot of time talking about it. This whole thing for me, the weight loss is what you hear publicized and stuff like that. And that's important because the heavier you are, the more, taxing it is on your systems. For me, it's not so much the superficial losing weight so I look better. I need to lose weight so I feel better, and everything else will work better. So for me, it's all about the numbers. And I'm going to give you some numbers because, it's what's important, I think as important as the weight loss. But you really only see and hear about the weight loss because of what's going on in Hollywood or, what you see on social media. So, my A1C, so a little bit of history. First time I ever had my A1C, I believe was 2011. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and tell you what I was at because it's a big number. My first A1C reading, and I was relatively fine at this point. That was when I was 45 and not really feeling much of anything. I was 11.1, my first A1C reading. And my doctor was stunned and, just said, okay, we got work to do here. So he put me on metformin and glipizide and a couple other things. Ozempic wasn't around then. Jardiance was around then. So I started, and I got down, to the 8.5 range after like a year. Ideally, you want to be under 7. With my family history and my genetics that are involved, I've been told that I may never get to 7. My A1C and my glucose might just stay elevated, and I might have to be on stuff for the rest of my life, which I'm okay with. So far, what they know about Ozempic, there are a lot of health benefits, side benefits that you don't hear talked about a lot, but there are a lot of them. There's some negative side effects. Nausea, sometimes people's stomachs have temporary paralysis, but so far there's nothing overly serious that they found is a side effect. It's all, and it's fairly low instances. It's not, there's a lot of people on it now, and fairly few negative side effects are showing up. So again, for me, so far so good. So. But some of the positive side effects are obviously it lowers your A1C, and the lower your blood sugar is, the less your pancreas has to work, and all those things connected. Another one of the good side effects is it reduces, it's good for your cardiovascular system. Whether you exercise or not, it's a benefit. Now, obviously the more you work out or the more you walk or, whatever you do, the better it's going to be. But just baseline, there are benefits to people's cardiovascular, which also reduces your blood pressure, which is another good side effect. So, all good things. What they're noticing is it reduces inflammation. Some people have swelling in their feet. Some people have swelling in their legs or arms or whatever, it's showing to reduce those too as kind of baseline, whether you work out or not. Now, again, it's really important to work out. They recommend that you do get exercise because it will also reduce muscle mass. So it's very important to have protein and work out and do weight training. Those are pretty big things. So, and the other one I want to touch on is, and I haven't heard a lot about this, but you're starting to hear more and more, is improved cognitive abilities. They're saying that it's just, again, baseline, whether you work out or do anything else other than just taking the shot. They're finding cognitive benefits, that it's staving off possibly Alzheimer's, dementia, and people's ability to stay sharp longer appear to be increased. So to me, those are, I mean, obviously those are all good things. And again, I'm kind of on this journey, so my systems work better. I am feeling some of the negative effects of diabetes, but not much. I mean, you know, I'm fairly lucky, especially given my family history and that sort of thing. So I've got to take it seriously. Got to really get on the stick, and I am, which is why I'm kind of doing this, is to get it out there so I have, you know, it's psychological for me as well. I've gotten it out there, so I need to stay on top of it. So this is, you know, I appreciate you watching this, and that's great, and I hope you learn some things, and if nothing else, learn a little bit more about me. But I really want to get better all the way around, and this is helping me a lot. So I will say that I took my glucose reading the morning after my first shot. I was 159. Now, ideally, your fasting glucose overnight, first thing you wake up, is supposed to be under 100. I haven't been under 100 in forever. Part of that is lifestyle choices. I'm not doing as great as I could be, but, you know, that here we are. A week later, I was 138. I've been kind of in that range since previous Tuesday. So, you know, I'll take it again and book it on Tuesday with my third shot, and we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, in that week, it wasn't just the shot. You also have cut out greatly the sugary drinks and things like that. Yeah. So you are doing what you can do to help.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, because it's kind of interesting how it's gone for me. You know, you hear about one of the big things that helps people eat better while taking the shot is it cuts off the food noise in your head. I didn't really understand what food noise was until it wasn't there, right? So it turns out I spent a lot of my time during the days kind of thinking about food. What could I have? What can we get? What, you know, just all the different choices and possibilities. And, you know, I feel like something, I should have something, I shouldn't have something, but I want something, whatever. That's the food noise. And that has all but disappeared. I mean, most days now, since I've been on this the last week and a half, I'm not really thinking about food really at all, to the point where I have to have a conscious thought that I need to eat something. And again, it's Sunday of Memorial Weekend. Yesterday we had Danny's parents over and we had a cookout. Cooked brats and hot dogs, and we had some brisket and things like that, and beans and potato salad, and all that stuff. And I was looking forward to that, but it was looking forward to it psychologically because it's Memorial Weekend. This is what you do, right? When it came, I was cooking a bunch of the stuff, and I was watching it being cooked and preparing it, and it was kind of like, meh. You know, it didn't hit me the same. I still enjoyed it. I still liked it. And I had a brat. I had a brisket sandwich. It turns out I didn't have a hot dog. I didn't have room left. I had beans. And I had some. I didn't eat as much as I normally would. I didn't stuff myself, gorge myself, because it's what you do, right?
But you normally would have eaten that first plate and gotten up and gotten a second sandwich or brat or something.
That's total routine for me, is to have a brat and a hot dog and beans and potato salad and finish that and go back for another hot dog and a little bit of potato salad or beans or whatever. I didn't finish my plate, my first plate. I ate all of the brat. I only ate about 2/3 of the brisket sandwich. I did not finish the coleslaw. I finished potato salad and I finished the beans, but I was done. And that was different for me. I mean, that's not how I roll. It's kind of weird because when I prepared it and we were getting ready to actually eat, I was hungry. I wasn't, it's not like I was like, oh, I don't even want this. I was hungry and I wanted food. And I didn't like hit a wall. This is the thing that's weird to me, because I was always led to believe or something that when you're eating, you'll suddenly hit a wall where you're like, oh, I can't eat another bite. That hasn't happened for me, but I have gotten when I'm eating now, I get to the point fairly early on as I'm eating where, how much am I going to eat? Do I really want to eat? You know, so I don't know if it's psychological or if it's really, changing the chemical process in my brain or what's happening, but I find myself almost losing interest in eating as I'm eating. It's not that I'm full necessarily. It's like I could eat more. If you put a gun to my head and said, take another bite, no problem. But it's kind of like, yeah, I think I'm done. So I don't know how to describe that any better than that. It's kind of weird, but that's how it's going for me. So, good things. I go back in 2 months to my doctor and I'll get my next A1C then. Update, I'm not still at 11.1. I got A1C a couple months ago, about a month and a half, 6 weeks. And I was down to 8.1. Not 7 where I should be.
That's with the addition of Jardiance.
I'm still on metformin, but that's before Ozempic. So, I wasn't monitoring my glucose like I should have been. So I don't know where my daily numbers were in that. So we'll see. I go back. I have to go get my blood work in like 6 weeks. And then I go back in like 7 or 8 weeks. And I'll get my numbers in. I'm really hoping for big things. And if I'm not there, I'll just keep striving for it. I mean, that's the bottom line is.
The goal is, the doctor said, you might be able to get off of some of the other
I think ideally, so not everybody takes Jardiance, right? And a lot of people, when they go on to Ozempic, they stop taking Jardiance. Turns out that Jardiance and Ozempic work in different ways for different things, really. They're all helping the same thing, but in different ways. So you can take them both. And I talked to my doctor, and because my genetics are such that I may never get down below 7 A1C, that it's probably a good idea to continue taking Jardiance, at least until if I ever do get down, then I can come off it. But I might never. And it is what it is. I mean, if I just can't get there, I can't get there, and I learn to live with it, and I'm doing the best I can. That's the bottom line is, I have not been doing the best I could for a long time. Not actively hurting myself, but just not taking care of myself like I should have. So I'm now doing that. And like Danny said, I've cut out almost all sugary drinks.
Which is a huge deal for me.
And it's a huge deal. There is no bigger fan of Pepsi in the world than me.
All sodas, nasty.
Yeah, I mean,
flavored things.
All right, okay, let's not be mean about it.
You put any sort of bubbly thing in a can, he'll drink it.
You put a regular soda, whatever flavor, new flavor, whatever in front of me, and I'm going to want to try it. I still want to try them. And I had a battle in the grocery store the other day. I actually had a bottle of Pepsi in my cart for several minutes. And then I decided that was not the thing to do, and I put it back. And I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
That's big. Getting away from regular sugar sodas is huge for me. And it's one of the biggest things you hear about. And that's That's what I have to do. I made a deal with Danny that, the only time I'm going to have full sugar soda is when we go out to eat. Not when we order. If we get something ordered in, I'm not going to do it. But if we go out to eat, I'm going to have a regular soda. And that's kind of a way to kind of, I guess, not make myself quick cold turkey, give myself a little treat, if you will. But the funny thing is, when thinking about it, the last time we went out to eat, I think it was Lazy Dog. I almost didn't get a regular soda. I almost got like a 0 or something like that. So it's kind of like...
And you only had one.
And I only had one.
Where normally he chokes it down immediately. He needs refill and refill and refill. And you made it off of one glass. So that, again, was a huge change.
Yeah, so I'd love to say that that's willpower. I don't know that it is. I don't feel anything going on in my head, but what I find myself thinking about and not thinking about is really interesting to me because it's vastly different than it used to be. So that's big. That's, I think, really important. So whatever works, right? I mean, whether it's me and willpower or self-discipline or...
It's the shot.
The shot and it doing what it does. I mean, that's why it's here, right? This is exactly what it's for. So, good things. So anyway, I shared some personal information with you and my overall thoughts. And I appreciate you checking in and watching this. If you're still watching this, thank you. I appreciate this, holding me accountable. Whether you know it or not, this is what this is doing. So I'll be back in another week or so and let you know how it goes after the third shot or wherever we're at. So, did you have any other questions?
No.
No?
If anyone has tips or, good things to eat and snack on, please share. Yeah.
I don't really have any good things to snack on. Though what I did find, so I have had I forgot about this. I have had a little trouble with constipation.
Oh, that's right.
It's better the last day or two, but I went several days without much to show for it, if you know what I mean. So, and my number on the scale was still down, and I had obviously stuff still in me. So, that is real. So I have incorporated a couple oranges a day. I love oranges. Lots of fiber. I've gotten Metamucil, some fibers. That struggle is real. You hear about it, and that is a side effect I didn't really touch on. So, just wanted to mention that. Yeah. So now you've got all the dirt. It's all out there. This is my life now. So, again, I appreciate you watching. Yeah, if you have any tips or tricks, love to hear them. I don't really have any yet, but if I discover any, I will put them out there. We'll see how it continues to go. So, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.